A house that whispers when you breathe. Would you dare step inside a house that seems to breathe, matching every inhale you take with a sigh of its own? Tonight, I'll tell you the story of Emily and the house that hunts with whispers. But be warned, once you hear its breath, you'll never sleep the same again. The letter arrived on a Monday, reeking of wet decay. Emily thought it was a mistake until she read the words. You have been named the sole heir. The house in Ashthorne Hollow is yours by right of bloodline. She shouldn't have come, but some inheritances are as inescapable as blood and as cursed. Inside the envelope, a message written in hand, "Don't breathe inside." Emily's nerves tingled. At night, she dreamed of a house whose windows fogged and cleared, as if lungs exhaled just behind glass. Thunder growled overhead as Emily's car wound through forgotten back roads. The town was nearly dead. Eyes watched from porches as she passed, silent, unblinking. At the end of the moss-eaten driveway, the house loomed. Every plank, every shutter seemed to twitch in slow, rhythmic waves. Emily shivered. Was it the cold, or was the house truly breathing? The door creaked open with a reluctant sigh. She stepped inside. The air pressed in, all damp cellar and coppery tang. She took a breath. Somewhere deep in the walls, the house inhaled and whispered. She tried exploring. Dust didn't sit right. It was darker, mottled with what looked like flecks of blood. Every creak of the house sounded in pairs. One, then the other, like lungs filling and emptying. When she lay down in her sleeping bag, cold and alone, the whispers grew bolder. Inhale, exhale, stay. The shadows never seemed to be where she left them. Once, she saw something slither past the door, just out of the reach. That night, she barely slept, but the house did. It breathed in time with her body, and when she held her breath, so did the walls. When the sun rose, Emily explored upstairs. In one bedroom, a child's doll rested upright on the bed, its glassy eyes glistening, mouth twisting wider when she turned away. In the office, she found clippings of local disappearances. Whole families vanished. One faded photograph showed the house, but behind its windows, tall, shadowy figures pressed close, faces blurred by something that wasn't quite glass. Emily felt watched, smothered. She slammed the desk drawer shut and swore the breath of the house shuddered in reply. What would you do if the house waited for your every breath? Would you run, or would you listen to its whispering as it crest for more than just air? If Emily's nightmare has you on edge, let us know in the comments. What would you do in the hollow? Subscribe to this channel for more chilling tales, and remember, if you hear breathing tonight that isn't yours, don't listen. Have you ever felt a house watching you, breathing down your neck, feeding on every fear you bring inside? Emily's inherited nightmare is just beginning. And tonight, the breathing house reveals why nobody ever truly leaves. The third night brought no sleep. The breathing from the walls now had rhythm, an echo of Emily's own lungs, impossibly synchronized. She tried packing her bag beneath the sallow parlor light, but as she zipped it up, a distant piano note rang out from upstairs. High, forlorn, impossible. There'd been no piano in the house. Emily froze, listened as the note was played again. On the 12th repetition, she ventured up, heart hammering in her throat. The upstairs hall was dim, a corridor of peeling wallpaper and nail-scratched baseboards. Each door loomed closer than she recalled, as if the house was shrinking inward. She reached what used to be the master bedroom. The closet door now stood wide, revealing nothing but absolute black. The piano note sounded from within. She stepped to the door. In that darkness, breaths became sharp, hurried, her own and something else's. Emily whispered, "Who's there?" Answer, only a burst of icy air, like someone had inhaled beside her ear. She retreated. The piano silenced itself, and from the hallway, the child's doll she had already seen now appeared propped against the wallpaper. It wasn't there before. Its painted mouth, wide as ever, held a cracked tooth grin, smiling at her arrival. Emily grabbed her lantern and fled downstairs, swearing the walls exhaled just as she did. Unable to rest, Emily left for the town at dawn. As she walked, she felt the weight of unseen eyes. The town itself was a shell, abandoned buildings, dust-choked roads. At the old general store, the same gray-skinned man awaited her. He spoke before Emily could open her mouth. "You seen them yet?" Emily stammered, masking fear with anger. "What's wrong with that house? Why does everyone tell me not to stay?" He looked away, voice thin but urgent. "My oldest brother vanished there, so did the little Harlow twins before him. The house nourishes itself, on breath, on attention. People give life to its heart." Emily wanted to leave, now, but the man blocked the door, desperate. "If you dream tonight, dream shallow. Don't breathe deep. And if you hear your name, don't answer." No more words. Emily rushed back to Ashthorne Hollow. As night fell, the house seemed smaller, tighter. Every window stretched wider. Emily barricaded herself in the parlor. The whispers multiplied, a chorus of dozens, all faintly speaking her name. Against the hush of midnight, the walls inhaled deeply. And amid the breath, a single voice, the voice of her dead grandmother, spoke. "Come to me. Come inside." Emily held her breath, and the house went silent. If your walls ever whisper your name, what will you do? Share your answer below for a chance to have your comment featured in the next episode. Like and subscribe if you want the full horror to unfold, and hit the notification bell, because soon, the house won't let Emily leave, or let you sleep. Would you stay another night in a house that knows your every fear, that breathes each time you do? Emily has tried to resist, but the house is about to show her what happens when you try to escape. Emily packed by dawn. She'd had enough. Every window showed murky fog clawing against the glass, but her desperation drowned out caution. She grabbed the keys, rushed to the front door. It wouldn't open. No matter how she twisted and slammed, the lock only turned uselessly, as if the whole world outside was an illusion. The whispers grew bolder. Every window flickered with images, her own memories, twisted. Flashes of her mother's funeral, lonely playgrounds, childhood nights she thought she'd forgotten. She backed away, and suddenly the floor softened, undulating like a wave. She stumbled, falling through splinters and sinking into darkness. For a moment, she was underwater. Panicking, she thrashed. Black water, icy, flooding her mouth. Hundreds of voices murmured just below the surface. "Stay, stay with us. Breathe." She broke free with a gasp, lying on wet floorboards, coughing brackish water. But the room was dry. The corrosion etched on her tongue, impossible to swallow down. Her heart hammered. The house had shown her. She could drown in it, even standing on dry land. How do you fight something that lives inside your very breath? Desperate, Emily ran for the staircase, but every step stretched the distance, as if the house swelled between each frantic footfall. Rooms twisted. Doors shifted, opening to nightmares. The child's room, now filled with dolls, all staring, wide-mouthed, their eyes dripping wet, dark stains. The master bedroom, wallpaper curling to reveal dozens of old, pressed faces, their mouths open in silent screams. The office, where papers reshuffled themselves into words crawling over each other. "We remember. We breathe with you, forever." Emily fled into a hallway that had never been there before, narrow, warping sideways. At its end, she found a door pulsing with slow, sickly light. She opened it. Inside, a mirror smeared with handprints, her own, but dozens, overlapping, impossible. Her reflection didn't copy her movement. Instead, it leaned closer, smiling. Reflection, Emily whispered, "If you breathe, I breathe. If you scream, I scream. But only one of us gets out. Will it be you or will it be me?" Emily's lips trembled. She felt hands sliding over her shoulders, cold, spectral hands pushing her toward the mirror. She squeezed her eyes shut and screamed. The glass shattered, but instead of shards, only mist poured out, cold and dense, snaking around her, pulling her forward. Emily felt herself falling endlessly, as if the house itself was swallowing her whole. What waits on the other side of the mirror? Comment what you think Emily will face. Subscribe for the next chapter, and turn on the bell so the house doesn't catch you off guard. Remember, if your walls start whispering, hold your breath and run. Emily has been pulled far past the edge of reality. In this house, even mirrors are hungry, and doorways lead only deeper. Are you ready to follow her into the labyrinth tonight? Emily awoke on unfamiliar timber floors. The air cold, heavy, thick as syrup. The walls rippled, veins throbbing, turning old wallpaper into living flesh. She staggered upright. Every door she opened led to somewhere else. Rooms she'd already seen, but changed. The kitchen flooded, water rising over the counters, then draining in seconds, leaving rot and bone behind. The parlor, piled with suitcases, hers, each marked with memories she didn't recognize. A new door, carved with spirals, opened onto a field of wildflowers beneath rotting sky. Emily cried out, but her voice echoed differently. The house mimicked the sounds, warping them, whispering back with mocking laughter. She realized with horror, there was no way out. The house was folding in on itself, rooms overlapping, twisting. Every time she tried to retrace her steps, the hall moved, the doors shuddered, and the breathing grew louder. Shadows skittered across the ceiling, whispering her name. And then, in a living room she didn't remember, she found an old woman's silhouette, face hidden by a veil. The figure beckoned. The veiled woman spoke, voice damp, rotted, uncanny. You don't belong here, but you do now. Once you breathe these walls, you're sewn into the timber. Emily tried to run, but specters emerged. Lost children crawling from closets, their faces blurred, eyes spiraling black. Flickering men and women, mouths stitched shut, moaning wordless sorrow. Each reached for Emily, bloodless fingers clutching air. As if trying to borrow her be, the house shuddered as if in pleasure. The breathing became a thunderous pulse, Emily's own heartbeat magnified 100-fold. In the depths of chaos, the veiled woman revealed her face, a mirror image of Emily, distorted and hollow-eyed. She pressed cold hands to Emily's chest. "Let us in," she whispered. The walls bled, dripping rust. The floor melted away, plunging Emily into a pit, where hundreds of skeletal hands awaited, grasping, pulling. Emily managed only a gasp. As she fell, the breathing stopped. Silence. Then darkness choked out all sound but one, the growing, hungry whisper. Forever, forever, forever. If you had to face your own ghost, could you escape? Let me know your answer in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell, or you'll be left alone in the dark when the house's next secret is revealed. Emily is about to face the heart of the hollow. The house is hungry. Who will pay? The unwilling heir, or the town that fed this curse for generations? Emily stands at the heart of the basement, encircled by the wall of faces, all eyes open, all mouths moving in time. Her own reflection stares from within the wood, pleading, mocking, daring her to breathe one last time. The voices speak. Join us. Give in. The house never lets go. Emily rages, screaming for her life. The foundation shudders. Nails pop from wood. Floorboards clutch her ankles. The faces in the walls begin to sing. A lullaby Margaret sung years ago, twisted sweetly wrong. Emily digs for escape, pulling at the scone, only to see her own hands reflected everywhere. Hundreds of versions, all trapped, all surrendering. Suddenly, silence falls. Margaret herself appears, eyes sunken, her voice cold and familiar. This house is ours. It is you. The only way out is to stop breathing. Do you have the courage? Emily hesitates, the air growing tighter, burning her lungs. She inhales deeply and lets herself go still. The walls groan, almost disappointed. When the townspeople break down the basement door, they find a silent room, chill and empty. No sign of Emily, only a newly formed face in the living wall. Outside, the hollow breathes easier, for now. But in the night, subtle whispers reach every house, promising hunger again when the next heir arrives. Back inside, Emily, now part of the house, waits. Her breathing is slow, deliberate. The walls echo her presence. From time to time, she tries to scream, but all that escapes is a ghost of a whisper. The cycle has begun again. If you ever inherit a house in Ashthorn Hollow, ask yourself, how long can you hold your breath? Some houses aren't just haunted, they're always hungry. If you were Emily, would you fight or surrender? Comment your answer. Subscribe now, if you dare. And turn on notifications so you'll never miss when the next heir is chosen. Because one day, you might hear the Hollow whisper your name.